Hello and welcome back, and if you are watching in real time, Merry Christmas. Now, I don't know about you, but even the best laid plans for sticking to healthy eating can go way out of the window at this time of year. There is literally just so much temptation everywhere. And yeah, come on, it's Christmas after all. So if you have overdone it in the past few days, have no fear. I am here with a few handy essential hacks to get you back on track, or at least part of the way. First up, and this one I have to say is a bit of a must. I have it most days anyway, but it can feel especially beneficial after a little overindulgence, and I am talking about electrolytes. So overindulgence, yeah, especially the alcoholic kind. So this is my electrolyte drink. I call it the Liz Livener. Super easy to make. All you need is a medium-sized glass of water. I've filtered this just because I prefer to take the chlorine out. I have got about 1/4 teaspoon of mineral salt. This is pink Himalayan salt. This gives the sodium. You could use sea salt. And then a little squeeze of fresh lemon or lime, and that gives you vitamin C, gives you a bit of potassium, and you just stir it together and drink it easy. And I have this most mornings. You can also buy electrolyte powder or drops if you prefer. It's really good for rehydrating, and I'll actually prep this sometimes the night before, keep it ready in the bathroom, and then it's there just to drink the morning after. Do it after you've brushed your teeth. So that's because the lemon can affect the enamel on the teeth. And as a shortcut, you could just add a pinch of sea salt to a glass of water and stir it to dissolve it. And if you've had a few too many the night before, do have a really good breakfast to help stabilise your blood sugar. So that means good protein, healthy fats. It will really help. Low blood sugar can make us feel even worse than we already do. And while on the subject of blood sugar, yeah, let's talk about sweet treats. You know, sure, I have been scoffing the chocolate coins like no tomorrow. And yeah, it can really leave us feeling out of whack, can't it? You know, you get these massive dips in energy, which in turn can leave us reaching for the biscuits or the mince pies in search of an energy boost. And it's really a vicious cycle. So try to resist the urge for the sugary treats and instead prioritise protein. So when it comes to snacks, maybe opt for the cheese board if there are any leftovers, or you can have vegetable sticks, crudités with hummus, which is a good source of protein, and then make sure that you start the day with protein and healthy fats. Smoked salmon and scrambled eggs. So eating with a protein first approach helps to keep the blood sugars much more stable. So we're less likely to have those energy crashes that leave us running for a handful of Quality Street or whatever. Well, next up, let's talk about bloating, because I know that this is a big issue at this time of year. So firstly, some things to avoid. Fibre obviously is a treat for our gut, but some high fibre foods can be particularly gassy when broken down, and they can irritate sensitive tummies. So major players here include things like legumes, so that's beans and lentils, onions and garlic, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, yeah, the good old festive sprout. So in the short term, swapping these out for more Mediterranean varieties like courgettes, aubergines, maybe some red peppers, as well as stomach-friendly things like sweet potato, even frozen peas, you know, might just leave you feeling a little bit lighter. And in the long term, however, it is worth paying some attention to our gut microbiome, because our microbiome changes, especially in midlife, and we can end up having more bacteria in the gut that ferment these types of foods more quickly, making bloating more of an issue. So working with a dietitian might be helpful here. You could look up online, perhaps something to add to your list for January. Well, other things worth avoiding, fizzy drinks. Yeah, these can really contribute to that balloon-like feeling. And I'm not convinced that they are all that good for our gut microbiome, pretty much any of them, especially the ones with artificial sweeteners. So instead, if you can switch to fizzy water, or even just plain water, or herb teas, things like peppermint and ginger, for example, super good for the digestion and taste good too. It's a really nice habit to get into. And then my next tip is to get outside, whatever the weather. And if you can get outside after eating, this is really important because it helps with the digestive process. And studies have also showed that it can help regulate blood glucose. So a really good, healthy thing to do if you can after every meal, just get outside for a 10-minute walk. It's so good for you. And of course, outside, especially in daylight, we're also exposed to a bit of low-level sunlight, really helpful for helping to set our circadian rhythm. And that's the kind of hormonal clock which tells us when to wake and when to sleep. And if we go outside during daylight, it's helping with the melatonin cycle, which means that we will sleep better at night. And I think over the festivities, with eating too much, staying up late, maybe drinking a few too many martinis, guilty, then it's a good thing. So get outside, look up, see some daylight. Great tip. And alcohol, of course, can cause havoc with our sleeping patterns, and one way it does this is through interacting with a neurotransmitter called GABA. Now, under ordinary circumstances, GABA helps us to feel calm, but GABA and alcohol really don't mix that well. So initially, when you have a drink, alcohol interacts with GABA receptors in the brain and causes the brain to release more GABA. And we might feel this as that nice, relaxed feeling we get after a glass of wine. And we might find that, yes, we nod off a lot quicker after a drink, thanks to GABA calming us down. But after this initial influx of GABA, it gets used up. Now, this is where I want to introduce you to another neurotransmitter, glutamate. So glutamate is much more excitable. It stimulates our brain and body, not what we want in the middle of the night. But GABA, when metabolized, can get converted into glutamate, leading to an influx of this neurotransmitter, waking us up and disrupting our sleep. Because the body metabolizes alcohol quite slowly, even one drink can be enough to cause sleep disruptions. So if you're going to have a nightcap, well, you might be better off having it earlier in the evening rather than just before bed. So what can we do to help support our sleep then, if it's not a nightcap? Well, a dose of sunlight, as I mentioned, in the day, no caffeine after, say, 3 o'clock latest, and yes, maybe giving the booze a bit of a swerve. But on the subject of GABA, it's actually well worth taking magnesium. I've talked about this before. This mighty mineral is responsible for a huge number of biochemical reactions in the body, including, the synthesis of GABA. So magnesium helps to regulate our GABA production, helping to promote those lovely feelings of relaxation. So I take magnesium in the form of a supplement, but I also really recommend it transdermally too. Perhaps some magnesium salts in a bath, like Epsom salts, or a body butter formulated with magnesium. Pop a link to my favourite one. It really does make a huge difference. There we have it, a few ideas for helping us all feel a little better for those times that we've maybe overdone it a bit. Well, as ever, do let me know what you think. Share your tips below. I would love to hear what you recommend. How's it been? Hope you've had a really good, happy, healthy time. And until the next time we chat, go very well. Do enjoy the rest of the festivities. And if we don't chat before, a very happy new year. Sending you love. Bye-bye.